Evening, one and all, and welcome to Super League Raw Weekly. We've got a bumper show in store for you all. After what was an exceptional weekend of rugby league, we've got another phenomenal weekend of rugby league just days away. With me this evening is Mr. Sale, and as always, my good friend Gregory Nixon. Good evening, sirs.
Good evening. Are you well?
Absolutely, Greg. Almost the end of our fourth year, sir. Incredible how time flies.
Isn't it just? Who'd have thought it all them years ago?
Who'd have thought it when it was just me, you, and fuzzy screens? Hey, look how far we've come since then. Incredible, incredible. Good evening to the members that are already flying in. If you're new to Super League Raw, make sure that you get in the chat right now. We will give you shout outs throughout the show. Like, share, and subscribe. That's your job. If you're watching this, you need to like it now and share it now so everybody knows you're watching Super League Raw. Good evening, as always, Dawn Baker, who already will be in tatters for the weekend, I'm sure. Craig Forth, also a Wigan Warriors fan as well. Josh Grimes is with us. Christopher Waterworth is back. Good to see you, Chris. Mark Hill, of course, was on the Final Whistle podcast on Sunday. If you haven't heard all of our conversations around the elimination playoff games, then make sure you listen to that on the way to work tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Higson's with us as well, another Super League Raw member. Dawn Kirkby, Hull KR, of course. Angela Holcroft, good evening to you. That's a new one. Andrew Robertson's with us. Nicola Burtonwood in the house. Lisa Files as well. We'll keep giving you shout-outs throughout the show. Gentlemen, there's only one place to go. Greg, please do not go on the ceiling. The Coach of the Year nominations have been announced this evening. We've got to go there first and foremost. Those coaches are Willie Peters of Hull KR, Matt Peat of the Wigan Warriors, Paul Rowley of the Salford Red Devils, and Mike Eccles of the London Broncos. Greg, I'm going to come to you, obviously, first. Your thoughts on the nominations for Coach of the Year?
Well, congratulations to all four of them. Fine coaches they are too.
Indeed.
They've all done a great job this season, even the one who finished bottom. So, you know, yeah, I know what you're trying to get me to say.
You say I'm fishing, sir?
Oh, you tease me so, sir. I think the only person who isn't bothering the slightest about not being on that list is Sam Burgess. I don't think he cares less.
No, I agree.
And how ironic would it be if he were to pick the pick a winners up medal in a couple of weeks that he wasn't even nominated? Do you know what? It is what it is. Mike Eccles is there for the sympathy vote because of the fuss. He's a good. No, don't get me wrong. He's a great coach. He's done a fantastic job in London. But he's, I could have understood it if they'd have finished above bottom. But it is what it is. Paul Rowley's done a great job. Got Salford into the top six. Matty Pete, because he's the Wigan coach. So yeah, it's not worth.
Well,
it's not worth getting upset about, to be honest.
Well, no, it's not about getting upset. It's just about looking at this objectively. That's what we're here to do.
That's what I mean. They've done good jobs in their own right. And
yeah,
I know you were trying to get me to say that Sam Burgess should be there. But, Mike Eccles is there because of the job he's done at London. I can't help to think it might be a bit of a reaction to the controversy throughout the season that they were already down before they even got started. That irks me a little bit, but, it is what it is.
Well, Craig Forth said he's happy that Eccles has been given some sort of recognition for the job he's done, but he's also saying it's a surprise with regards to Eccles. Oliver Deering in the chat, Eccles nominating for managing to finish below Hull FC. Nobody has given Mike Eccles more credit than this show over the course of the season, Steph. We've all been incredibly impressed. And, let's be fair here. Coach of the Year. I'm going to throw this at you. And look, I'm being objective here. That's all I'm being. So don't start throwing pelters at me. Hear me out, and then I'm going to ask Steph this question. So we're on about a Coach of the Year. Mike Eccles, from a coaching perspective, has done incredibly well this season. Incredibly well. As he said in his post-match press conference after Warrington, the Rugby Football League took the hope away from his players day one, yet he managed to galvanise them into a spirited team who got stronger throughout the season and very nearly didn't finish bottom on a very, very low salary cap spend. So if we're talking about coaching, then I understand that. I understand how people can appreciate what Mike Eccles has done. But in the next breath, if that's the case, if we're talking about coaching, Matty Pete should have won the league. He's the highest spend. He's the World Club champions. He's got the best roster in the league. So, you know, it throws a massive can of worms up because your coach, Adrian Lamb, the winning streak he's been on. You know, Greg rightly mentioned Sam Burgess. I think everybody's been very impressed with Eccles, but when you start to put the bottom of the table coach in a coach of the year category, I think you're opening up a can of worms, Steph.
Can I just put in a second? A chance to Dawn Baker in the chat. That might come across wrong there, Dawn. I didn't mean he's been picked just because he's Wigan coach. I meant because of what Wigan have done this season. Sorry, that might have come across as me having a go at that one. No, I'm just.
Yeah, I know that.
Dawn's comment that I'm not saying just because his Wigan coach got nominated. Wigan have been fantastic this season, and it might have come across that I meant that. I didn't mean it like that.
No, he has to be nominated.
Yeah. Oh, apologies, Dawn, but I didn't mean it quite like that.
Well, I won't apologise to Dawn or any Wigan fan for what I've just said, and I'm going to fire it to Steph. You know, if we're talking about coaching, I should hope that Matty Pete is selected as one of the coaches of the year. He's spent the most amount of money. He's got the best roster. You know, that's the way that it is. If we're talking about coaching, we're talking about the likes of, Paul Rowley. I get that. Second lowest spend, got him to 4. You know, Mike Eccles, bottom. And what I'm saying is they've opened a massive can of worms here. Massive can of, because you may as well have had all 12 nominated. If that's, well, actually, no, let me rephrase that. You probably leave all FC Huddersfield out of that conversation and probably Leeds. But, you know, Craig Lingard's done well at Casford again on a shoestring, but you're opening a massive can of worms, Steph, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. And what I would say in Matty Pete's defence on this one, I totally get the argument. He gets the, you know, he spent the most money in Super League and he inherited a pretty decent side as well. However, how many times have we seen that go wrong when clubs have brought in the wrong coach, even with the biggest spend and stuff? I think the biggest credit you can give to Matt Pete is he's brought that. He's a team. You can tell they want to play for him and they love him. It's a bit like Adrian Lamb at Lee, Sam Burgess at Warrington. So in his defence, I think there's probably more opportunity for it to go wrong for him and to him to be criticised than to do well. So for me, I think he's done a phenomenal job. As is Willie Peters at Hull KR, to do what he's done is absolutely phenomenal. Paul Rowley, you know, I think the bookies had them finishing 11th. So to turn that into a 4th finishing side is absolutely phenomenal. So quite rightly, he's been nominated. Massive fan of Mike Eccles, but I think your point in terms of, not that he makes a mockery of Coach of the Year, because that's a bit too harsh.
No, I didn't say making mockery. I said it.
No, I'm saying that. People may look at it as, you know, from an outside, especially outside of rugby league, people might look, how's the team that's finished bottom with 3 wins been nominated for Coach of the Year? But when you actually dig into it and see what he has done, you can see why. And I think the biggest point here is I think this is voted for by the coaching staff.
I thought that had changed.
No, it's by the coaching staff. So it's obviously other coaches have recognised what Mike Eccles has done. So I think it's good to see him there in one way, but I would have liked to have seen Sam Burgess in there in front of Mike Eccles. I think there's other plaudits we can give to Mike Eccles this year for what he's done.
Yeah, well, look, it had to be discussed. I mean, and I think Greg's point to begin with, congratulations to them all, because there is arguments. I'm not saying there's not arguments that they should have been in there, but I think the Eccles one is the big one, because if you're going to make him coach, put him in a shortlist of a Coach of the Year, having finished bottom, despite the wonders that he's done and the great value he's brought to the competition in terms of his coaching, but also his press conferences and the manner that he and the side have handled themselves. And I get all of that. The moment you start saying a Coach of the Year is a coach that finishes 12th, having only won 3 games in the amount of points they've conceded, you are opening up a massive can of worms. But anyway, that's by the by, and you're going to get fans quite rightly having a little bit of a say on that. Right, okay, just before we get that one out of the way really quickly, let's now get into a bit of Super League Raw news before we move on. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Super League Raw Live 2025. We muted this last week. It is in the planning, ladies and gentlemen. Guests will be announced on weekly throughout the winter months. We're pretty confident we've got our first person there of note. There's quite a few, but we've just got to rubber stamp them. But the one that we're announcing this week is that Earl Crabtree of Huddersfield Giants will be joining us for Super League Raw Live in January. More news with regards to that. Members, of course, will get first dabs on attending that. It's going to be a great event. We expect a good handful of Super League coaches, perhaps chairmen, and certainly ex-players and players to be at that. It's going to be quite an occasion. And like I say, members will get first dabs on that. So why not consider becoming a member? We say this every single week. This is how you do it. Go over to patreon.com. You make that QR code in the top corner, scan that into your phone, become a member at Super League Raw. Will we get members? We had quite a few members throughout the shows the last couple of weeks. Then please do get in touch. Something else that we're doing, of course, we've got the Final Whistle podcast that we do with the members. We're also doing an annual general meeting on the 20th of October, a Sunday night. We're going to get all the members together and we're going to get feedback on how they're finding Super League Raw, what they would like to see in the future, etc., which it shows you what we're all about. This is a community. We're here. We're servants of yourselves. That's what we are. We love this great game. We put on a great show for you every week. We do the Final Whistle podcast and other things for you as well. But we also understand that we're your servants. We're here to give you what you want. So therefore, the annual general meeting has been called, and that will be coming on the 20th of October. I wish you wouldn't do that when I'm halfway through something. Anyway, we move on. The boys know what I'm talking about. Right, let's move on to some other news, because this is coming solely for members throughout the winter months. It's the Mastermind. That's right, Mastermind is coming. This is how it would possibly look. Throughout the winter months, we're going to be pitching two of our members head-to-head throughout the winter months to find out who is the Super League Raw member mastermind. This isn't the actual draw, but this is how it'll look. Basically, we'll pit members off to one-on-one to get to an eventual final, and whoever wins that final, of course, will get a prize for them. There'll be a bit of fun throughout the winter where we will go head-to-head. They'll come on with myself. We will do it. We will show the head-to-head in weekly throughout the winter months, and eventually, by the time we get to the new season start, we will have a Super League Rugby League Raw Mastermind for 24/25. So I say loads of good stuff coming down the pipe. Do join the Super League Raw membership. And of course, this coming Thursday, somebody is going to be joining the Super League Raw team at the grand final, because and we'll stop that there. Yes, the Super League Raw quiz is back this Thursday night at 8 o'clock start. We expect people to get on a little bit earlier. Tickets are available free. You can go on to Eventbrite. It's first come, first served. The members will, however, solely the members, I have to state this, the members will be playing for a seat at the grand final with the Super League Raw team. You will be our guest at the grand final. What a great prize that is. We've given tickets away this year for the Challenge Cup. We've given tickets away for Magic Weekend. Now it's the time of the grand final. So we've got live, we've got Mastermind, we've got Super League Raw Weekly going right the way through the winter. We need your support. Do consider becoming a member. Right, that's the sales pitch over. There's the QR code. That'll do where that's concerned. Let's get into other news, and let's get into this one. Because the Young Player of the Year has also been shortlisted this week. Let's have a little bit of a chat regards to this. Nicola, hoping to do better this time on the quiz. Yes, Nicola, you were shocking last time. I can say that, but with the greatest of love and respect. Yes, the Young Player of the Year. These are the three contenders, all forwards, which is really interesting. We love forwards here on Super League Raw. They don't get the praise that they deserve, but all of these players play in the pack. Junior Nsemba, Matty Nicholson, and George Delaney. Happy with the shortlist, Greg?
I'm not so sure about Delaney. I don't think he's covered himself in glory this season. Matty Nicholson's done really well, been solid. Junior Nsemba is if Junior Nsemba doesn't win it, I think there's been some Donald Trump-esque voting manipulations going on. I think Nsemba probably. Delaney probably the one I wouldn't have expected to be there, really, but Nicholson's done well. And you're going to ask me who would go in there in his place, and I'll have to think about that. But Nsemba was superb, been superb all season. When he's been, I don't think he was there at the beginning of the season, was he? But he's come through certainly over the last, 3/4 of the season.
Well, I think the best thing that's happened to Super League and to the Wigan Warriors, not to Willie Isa, was Willie Isa's injury, quite frankly. Because it's allowed Junior Nsemba to sparkle. You asked for a name, I'll give you a name. I think Logan Moy's unlucky not to get a mention.
Good shout, yeah.
I mean, Logan Moy at Hull FC, in a really poor side. He's been thrusted into the first team. And I think we've seen a bit of talent from that boy. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's only played 18 games, and it's the same with the Super League Raw Dream Team. We're announcing 5 actually. Is it 5? 5 other Dream Teamers tonight in the Super League Raw one. The analysis has been done. They're going to be announced tonight. But the caveat that I've placed on that, and I'll get your opinion on this, Greg, before you talk a little bit about Logan Moy, is I've decided that the cut-off point is 20 games. If you haven't played 75% of the games in the regular season, I don't see how you can go into a dream team. I think, for me, that was the cut-off. 20 games out of 27. If you played less than that, I'm sorry. With the greatest, with good conscience, I can't put you in my dream team because it's about consistency. It's about going through the course. It's not about glimpses. It's about consistency. And, of course, every conceivable stat over the 27 rounds I've looked at, as well as what I've seen with my eyes. So, Logan Moy, he's only done 18, but in dispatches, I think it's right that we just call him out tonight. I think he's had a really good 2024.
I think he has. I think he's grasped the chance, the opportunity he's been given.
Yeah.
Another name was just. I mean, Zach Eckersley's had a great season as well.
That was the other name on the list.
Yeah, I don't think he's probably played 18. 20 games.
He's played 18 as well, but scored in the Challenge Cup final. He's been outstanding. So I think those were the two for me that really could have been in there. I understand why they're not in there. They haven't played enough games, but I think those two.
Don't get me wrong, Joe. Delaney's done all right. He's done all right. He's for a young lad, and he's had to fill in some big shoes in that pack this season with all the injuries that Saints have had. I don't know if people know this, but Saints have had some injuries this season.
They have.
But yeah, I mean, Delaney's he's filled some big shoes. I just think, like you say, Moyes or Eckersley maybe have could have been in there before him. It's just opinions, isn't it?
It is just opinions. I'm going to go to Steph. I mean, somebody, I think Christopher Waterworth in the chat is talking about Jamal Hanley. I think, unfortunately, Jamal Hanley's too old to be considered Young Player of the Year, but he's had a phenomenal year. And again, we have been giving him plenty of raps through the season. From your perspective, Steph, were you surprised not to see were you surprised to see Delaney in there? I mean, I think we'd all probably agree that on face value, Nsemba's Young Player of the Year.
He's definitely my Young Player of the Year. Delaney's a bit of I think he's had a decent season, and obviously he's had to do a lot of graft given the injuries they have had, which, they kind of brought to do that at Saints, aren't they? So it's not surprising that he has done well in the first team. I was going to say Thulis as well as Hanley, but I think
too old. He won last year. He's too old.
Yeah, too old now.
Thulis was last year's Young Player of the Year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think Thulis has had another great season, so shame he is a bit too old for that one. But yeah, I think Eckersley's been fantastic at Wigan, hasn't he? He's come in and done a great, especially with the field injury as well, where he's covered in that respect. So can't really argue with it.
No. Well, Greg Roach is there. He's backing me up. Hello, Greg. You're missed on the final whistle at the moment. You've got to ditch that NFL rubbish, sir. But yeah, as an NFL coach once said, availability is a player's best ability. Do you know what? I can't disagree with that, boys. You know me. You know me well enough to know that I don't leave anything to chance. This is going to surprise you, actually. A graphic is coming up. Here we go. This is it. Let's get into this because this will surprise many people, especially when we get to Delaney, I have to say, because this was a bit of a surprise when I looked at it. I just want to get rid of Greg's comment for a minute. Right, appearances. Nicholson, let's look at Nicholson first. He's actually scored the most tries. He scored 9, Nsemba 7, Delaney 1. He's actually made the least appearances as well, 21 to Nsemba's 25 and Delaney's 23. Try assist goals, Nsemba, 2 for Nsemba, 1 for Nicholson, none for Delaney. Now we go to tackle bust, which is Junior Nsemba's game. 94 tackle bust in the season, Junior Nsemba in second row. Compare that to 24 for Nicholson, 50 for Delaney, who plays front row. So that's really impressive. 94 tackle bust. Then you go to clean breaks, 12 on the left edge for Nsemba, 6 for Nicholson, 1 for Delaney. You wouldn't expect as many for Delaney because of the position he plays, but 12, incredible. Then we go to offloads, 13 times Nsemba has kept the ball alive, 3 for Nicholson, 1 for Delaney. Now we get into Nicholson's strength. Nicholson, 648 tackles with a tackle efficiency of 92.4%. Then we go to Delaney, 584 tackles with a tackle efficiency of 95.5. That's extraordinary. That is outstanding. Over the course of a 23-game period, to have a tackle efficiency of 95.5%, you've got to tip your hat to the man. You really.
That's 500. That's 500 successful tackles.
Plus, incredible, mate. Yeah. Incredible, mate. You then go to Nsemba, 517 tackles with a tackle efficiency of 90.8. Nsemba has carried the ball the most, 241 times for 1,920 metres, averaging 7.9 attack carry. Then it's 238 for Delaney, 1,634 metres for 6.87 metres of carry. And then finally, Nicholson, 169 carries for 1,049 metres, 6.2. So, Greg, your surprise all with Delaney. Actually, when you look at it in that way, especially the tackling element, because you've seen Nicholson all year. He's a tackling machine. You would not have put Delaney ahead of Nicholson before I showed you that stat in terms of defence.
Not in terms of efficiency.
No.
Definitely not. I mean, when you look at Nicholson, that is still 600 tackles that have been successfully completed. So, but fair play. Fair play. Maybe because he's not shouted about as much as other players are, Delaney, that we don't notice him as much. It could be that factor. But definitely in the tackling, in his defence, absolutely superb.
Incredible.
Certainly his efficiency, anyway.
Steph, I mean, obviously, I always surprise you boys with these things because I like to be spontaneous. Are you surprised by some of the stats? I mean, certainly not in Nsemba's, but when you see that, you understand why Nicholson and Delaney have been put in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, he's done a great job coming into that Saints team and done a hell of a lot of work for them. So you can see why. What I would say on the Nicholson tackle, he's played 2 less games as well with that tackle count.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if he had 2 more games in, he's at 750. With this thing. So which is a phenomenal effort, and he's NRL bound, isn't he? And you can see why.
Yeah. Well, exactly, and if he's and we keep going back to this and understand the contract that Nsemba's signed, etc. But if Nicholson has been courted by the NRL, there's other players that certainly will be courted. Albeit, I do think that bit of business from Wigan has possibly delayed Nsemba by maybe 2, possibly 3 years.
There is absolutely no doubt whatsoever that Nsemba,
at some point,
if he wants to, will go to the NRL. And will be a massive success.
Gentlemen, this is the first time I've ever seen this. I thought it was a Lane Page for a moment, and I was going to start singing memories. But we've got Emily Page. Everybody wave at Emily. Hello, Emily, and welcome to Super League Raw. We hope you're all well, and we hope that you stay with us throughout the winter months. Maybe consider becoming a member. You never know, you might like it. Right, okay, let's get into some more great stuff. I did say we're going to announce more Dream Teamers tonight, and once we've done a couple of Dream Teamers, we're going to get into the weekend action. We're going to go a little bit there before we move on to the semi-final. So the first thing that we're going to look at is wingers. Of course, we put out on our feed the winger selections for this season. Those wingers were, let's bring them up on screen. This is what we put out on our Facebook page. The contenders in his senior, possibly very early weighted in the season, early to mid, but you've got to give his senior a lot of credit to the Casper Tigers. Josh Charnley has had a fantastic season for the Lee Leopards, and we wish Josh well in his recovery. Liam Marshall, Ryan Hall, who of course has broke the record this season and has been a consistent performer for Hull KR, and finally Matty Ashton of the Warrington Wolves. Right, shall we find out who the first inductee is, gentlemen?
Let us, yes.
Let us indeed. Here is the first winger for Super League Raw in our Dream Team this year.
Back inside, trusting that the centre will be there. Williams a counter punch, French into the line, gets it away, gets it, flick pass! Oh, what a finish! That's comes through the fullback, and making space, and Marshall comes back in, and Liam Marshall bounces over to score. Will celebrates again.
So there we go. The first player it had to be, didn't it? Liam Marshall of the Wigan Warriors. 27 tries in the regular season this year. 4 try assists, 86 tackles, 36 clean breaks. The highest clean breaker, of course, in Super League, as well as the highest try scorer. 5 offloads, 111 tackles, 426 carries, 3,695 metres, 8.67 metres on average per carry. I will allow Steph to take this one. Steph, Liam Marshall, give your tribute to the Wigan Warriors. Let's quite frankly say it, one of their players of the season.
Absolutely, he's been absolutely phenomenal. Again, what a player he's turned out to be, Marshall. Yeah, his try scoring. Was it last year he got outscored by Miskey?
Last year, Miskey did him, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he did. Yeah, so brilliant response from him this season. Some of the tries he scored has just been absolutely, phenomenal. For me, he's a shoe-in for the England, Great Britain squad, whatever it is. So congratulations to Mr. Marshall.
I love Greg Roach's comment here. Greg Nixon, our very own Greg Nixon, should be on the wing as his predictions have been winged all season. Absolutely love that. Oh, somebody has done the QR code. Are they going to become a member tonight? Will we be giving them a shout out? It'd be lovely. Is it Sharon? Hello, Sharon. Welcome to Super League Raw. That's your first comment as well. We've got a few newbies tonight, which is absolutely marvellous to see. Sharon, keep getting your comments.
Leaf and Sharon, I think.
Well, we do attract the Be the Raw Brigade, let's be honest. And Neil Renix, of course, the winner of the last Super League Raw quiz and went to Magic Weekend, courtesy of Super League Raw. He's already confirmed he's going to be there on Thursday night. Good evening to him. He is in there as well. Right, okay. So that is the tribute to Liam Marshall, and absolutely deserving too. He is in our dream team. Shall we find out who is going on the other side? Here he comes.
Williams, quick hands from Duffy. Ratchford now gets it further left, and we know how good he is at finishing. Matty Ashton. Smith will carry it in, puts it out to Foden. Oh, it's an interception! It's an interception on Matty Ashton, who's one of the quickest men on the field. He's going to be chased, but he's not going to be stopped. It's going to be another Warrington try.
So there you go. Matty Ashton is going to be on our other wing. And of course, for those eagle-eyed amongst you at the moment, we're going exactly the same way as the Dream Team itself. But here's a spoiler alert. We're not going to be doing that all night, just to let you know. But Matty Ashton, 23 appearances, 21 tries, 4 assists, 88 tackles, 31 clean breaks, 5 offloads, 85 tackles in D, 347 carries for 2,975 metres, 8.57 a metre. Neil, we can't pick Marshall on both wings. I understand Marshall is the team. They're just putting that one out there for you, sir. But yes, Greg, over to you. You've had the privilege of seeing Matty all season. How have you, well, over to you. Give the tribute to Matty Ashton.
Oh, I mean, the guy's a superb finisher. He can score tries from deep, and he can finish off tries. It's been a pleasure to watch him this season. I think he's finally fulfilling the potential. We every Warrington player suffered for the last 2 years, and I think he suffered as a result of that as well, because moves weren't as crisp as they should be, etc. But I think he's been absolutely fantastic this season. He's a proper all-round winger. Definitely.
Absolutely. And Steph, as a non-Warrington fan, your thoughts on Mr. Ashton?
Yeah, well, he's always been a superstar player for me. And Chris Waterworth, who's actually someone I went to school with, and actually reminded me, big shout out to Noah. We met on Friday night. Noah. Good
Let's
to see
do
you
that. Let's do that right now. So where am I? I've got to go and find you. Carry on while I get there.
So Chris made a great point there. I remember him scoring tries for fun against Leigh, playing for Swinton. So it's not we all knew. I think a lot of Leigh fans wanted to sign Matty Ashton when he was at Swinton. So he's just gone on to the next level now. And again, another one that's a shoe-in for the England team for me.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
Well, the problem that you've got is you've got Dom Young, so Liam Marshall and Matty Ashton go, and I think that I think my problem for Matty Ashton is going to probably be that you'd be hard pushed to leave Marshall out. They both play on the same side. I think Dom Young's got the right hand side, hasn't he? I think we'd all be very surprised if Dom Young, then again, injuries could play a part in that. Don't get me wrong, but I think we'd all be pretty surprised if Dom Young didn't get that.
If one of them has a bad game, he's got to get his chance for me.
Absolutely.
I'd love to see him go against the Aussies. Love to see that pace against the Australians.
Well, I mean,
I think Marshall will start. I think Marshall will start ahead of Ashton. If Dom
he deserves to. He deserves to. Yeah. I mean, as a Warrington fan, the last 2 seasons, Liam Marshall, and let's go back there as well. It was Liam Marshall who scored in the Challenge Cup final. It was Liam Marshall who scored vitally in the grand final. Liam Marshall has scored big tries at big moments. But yes, Steph, you're quite right. Hello to Noah. Hello to Leon. I saw Leon. I think it was his mum who posted on the Facebook page. Leon was the young lad that I did the live with. What a lovely chap he was. He enjoyed his night at Salford Red Devils. Hello also to Lewis Gildart and also Mark Were. Yes, Mark Were. That's a name for you. Good evening to you, Mark. I hope you're watching us and I hope you enjoyed it. Burgess only played 18 games. He only played 18 games and he scored 13 tries. He's not even in the top 4, those in the comments that I mentioned him. Let's get into some analysis. You'd expect nothing less from a good self, so I'm going to take it from here. This is why Marshall and Ashton are there. The tries speak for themselves. If you look at Ryan Hall, he scored 14 and he's made 3. Charlie has scored 17. He's made 3. Compare that to 27 tries for Marshall and 4 assists, 21 tries and 4 assists for Matty Ashton. You look at the tackle bus. Yes, that's Ryan Hall's strength. 149 tackle bus. Ashton second with 88. Marshall 86. Charlie 67. Clean breaks. This goes the way of Marshall and Ashton. 36 for Marshall, 31 for Ashton, 19 for Charlie, 14 for Hall. Offloads. Everybody's got 5 bar Hall. He's done it 13 times. Tackles, 111 tackles from Marshall. He's done the most. 85 for Ashton, 82 for Hall, 70 for Charlie. In terms of errors, pretty similar. 30 for Ryan Hall, 28 for Marshall. Then there's a big drop to 23 for Ashton. Charlie only 21. The carries, 347 for Ashton, 2,975 metres, 8.5 a carry. He is only beaten as an average carrier by Marshall, who's done 8.6 per carry, 426 carries, 3,695 metres. Then it's Charlie, 381, 2,967, 7.7. But the most metres made has gone the way of Hall, 513 carries, most of them out of backfield. He is bruising, 3,777 metres, 7.3 as an average. When you look at those stats, like I say, Burgess is nowhere near them stats. Ashton and Marshall deserve to be right and left, gentlemen.
Yeah, all day long. I mean, when you're going through them, Dave, I'm just thinking, how good would it be to have a Super League Raw top trumps with these?
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Well, brilliant. Funny you should say that, because I've already started inquiries for Christmas for a Super League Raw set of top trump cards. Keep your eye out for those ones. That could be a lovely stocking filler for your children this coming Christmas, Steph.
I genuinely didn't know you were doing that either. People won't believe me now, but
genuinely didn't know that.
But, it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, top trumps. Great minds. I'm in the process of looking at that, getting a set of Super League Raw top trump cards. What a great stocking filler that would be for the young kiddies out there. So there you go. So there's
Alex makes a good point, though, Dave. Alex makes a good point about Hall. He's built like a prop and he's on the wing.
Absolutely.
But could you imagine if he was used as a prop in some games? He'd be devastating.
Well, absolutely.
Maybe that's what Leeds have got.
Could you?
They might get an extra year out of him, mate. They might get an extra year out of him. Right, come on, we've got lots to get through.
Replacing Reece Martin in the second row.
We've got lots to get through. Lots to get through. Let's get into the weekend that was. I mean, look, I said this to Steph, and I'm going to say it again for everybody to hear. This game, unfortunately, is in the shadow of the game that went after it, because this game was equally, I mean, it was a great game. It wasn't as good as Warrington Saints for theatre, but it was a brilliant, brilliant game of rugby league. Salford Red Devils bow out, and we wish them nothing but the best. And we thank them for their efforts this year. They really have added to the competition, and the Leopards go on. But look how close this game was. Yes, it's 14-6 in the favour of the Leigh Leopards. Both exactly the same amount of sets, 32 each. Tackle bust, exactly the same, 37 each. More clean breaks. 2 of them came from Edwin Ipape, game breaker. 3-1 in the favour of the Leigh Leopards. Tackles. More were done by Salford. That was at the end of the first half. It was more by Leigh, but the tables changed in the second half. Tackle efficiency, 90% for the Red Devils, 88.9 for Leigh, which is interesting. Good tackle efficiency from Salford on the night. Meters going the way of the Leopards, 1,335 to 1,159, and of course both got 1 goal from 2. Greg, I'm going to bring you in here. This was a war of attrition, especially that first half. It was, I like a bit of biff. I appreciate the defensive game, and I appreciate that on a low-scoring game, the amount of effort, discipline, and also concentration that it takes a rugby league side to keep a team out for 40 minutes. And both teams did that in that first half.
Yeah. You rightly say the game on Saturday's kind of overshadowed this, but there were 2 contrasting games, and this was, I think, equally as good in a different way because, like you say, of the absolute defensive skills on show that both teams showed, especially that first half. I think Salford suffered, I think I said this on Final Whistle, I think Salford suffered by not playing their own game as much as they should have done and trying to kind of neutralise Leigh rather than play their own game, and they've got two of the best centres in Super League. I can't remember very many chances that they were given. They should have played to the strength Salford, but that doesn't take anything away from Leigh, who soaked up a lot of pressure, and then in the second half, Ipape was magnificent.
It was, and I think to your point there, Greg, as well. They peppered the left hand, the right edge of Leigh's defence all the way through the second half. And wouldn't you know it, it was the left edge of they actually got the result off in the second half with Ethan Ryan. It was unbelievable in that. Chris Walsworth there says what a night it was. Absolutely, Chris. And we would love to have yourself, and I think it's Noah, as part of the Super League Raw membership. Make sure you do that QR code, sir. Make sure you do it.
Alan Clegg has finally become a member.
Oh, Alan Clegg. Big shout out for Alan. Let's give Alan a massive rap. He has become the latest member of the Super League Raw family. Thank you, Alan, for your support. A 18-man member, no less. He's going to be coming along as a guest on a few Final Whistle podcasts. Good man indeed. And because he's took out an annual membership, he will be eligible if he joins us for the quiz for that grand final prize, should he win it. But, of course, Ian Judson, his favourite. Hello, Ian. We hope you're well. Greg has just mentioned, Steph, Edwin Ipape. Let's just go there, shall we? Edwin Ipape on the night, game breaker in elimination game number 1. These are his stats: 1 try, 1 assist, 3 tackle busts, 2 clean breaks. That exceptional one, and we'll purr over that in a moment because it's only right that we do. 6 offloads for Mr. Ipape, 23 tackles, 12 carries, 112 metres, and we've had a surge of people watching Super League Raw from Papua New Guinea. And good evening to each and every one of you. You're more than welcome in our fraternity. We hope you're enjoying Super League Raw because, of course, you'll be wanting to keep tabs on the great man himself. Steph, the pass from Ipape was as sharp and as shiny as Excalibur itself. King Arthur, he couldn't possibly shine it as well as Mr. Ipape did. What a performance from the man.
Yeah, he was outstanding last week against Saints, and he just turned it up a notch. I mean, last week he got the man of the match, I think, for his defensive efforts. I think he got it for both this week. I said it on the Final Whistle. I think that was one of the passes of the season. What he did to O'Brien. He was just magnificent and led from the front, and he was challenged mid-season by Adrian Lamb because his performances weren't quite where we needed him to be. And I think since he's had that conversation, he's just been a different player. Definitely a big factor in us winning that game. And you're absolutely right with your comments. It was defensive for that first half, and it's really strangely, because both Lee and Salford are known for their attacking play, and it was actually defence on the night that won out. But both sides had multiple sets of sixes on their own line in that first half and kept each other out, which is a credit to both sides' defences. But I think, as it was in Magic, Latelli and Hanley both deserve massive shouts for nullifying. I don't think Nene, McDonald or Laffey had a bad game. I just don't think they were allowed to play by Lee.
Fair play. Dawn Baker, Wigan fan, she'll be nervous about Pape's form going into Saturday. There's no doubt about that. He was a man possessed, almost as possessed as Ricky Latelli the week before. The man had Satan in his eyes. There's no doubt about that. Ricky was on one that night. But yeah, an outstanding performances from Pape. Andy Bibby talking about, does Partington deserve a better club? Well, he's off to Catalan next year, Andy. He's not going to be at Salford next year. Oliver Partington will be going to the Catalan Dragons. And Nicola Burnwood is giving us kisses, or is it Edwin? One of the two. But it's always nice to have Nicola in the chat. What a fantastic game. Beautiful pass. Beautiful.
Rob Hickson makes a good point, though.
We'll get to that. No. Greg, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. There's only one director, sir. And it is I. We will get to that. We will get to that. We've got a lot of things started. A lot of things coming, mate. Don't worry. We will get to that. Right. But yes, Robert, he's right. It's a great comment. We're going to get to that. So look, bottom line is Lee Leopards fully for me. They're the team in momentum. We'll get to them in a minute when we talk about their game against Wigan. But Edwin Pape, quite frankly, simply superb. We now go to the other game. He says the other game. Dear me, a fair of Super League. Oh yes, if you were going to go to, Gordon Ramsay's, this is the finest souffle, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get any better than this. Outstanding rugby league football on show, courtesy of St Helens and the Warrington Wolves. Massive raps to Saints. It really, really was incredible. Absolutely incredible. This was the stat attack from the game. The score 23-22. Look at the sets, 33-29 in Warrington's favour. This is a key stat. Tackle bust. 50 tackle bust for the Warrington Wolves. That is a key stat to 22 for the Saints. 5 clean breaks to 4. Tackles, very similar, 356 to 359. But look at the tackle efficiency. 94% the Warrington Wolves, 87% the Saints. That's where it was won and lost for me. Warrington, just managing to get on the front foot, cause St Helens problems, breaking through the line with those tackle balls, really, really critical. The meters went the way of Saints. 1,790 played 1,681, and both sides kicked 3 goals from 4. Again, Greg, I'll start with you. I mean, what a game. Let's go through it in a chronological way. Couldn't have got off to a better start.
No.
Tommy Makinson dropping that ball, and in they go on the left edge for the opening score.
Yeah, and it's a brilliant start, but being a Warrington fan, you always get a little bit nervous thinking, is that too good of a start? And it did prove to be right. Saints have got to be applauded for the way they came back. They could have folded. They've. What do you think? Saints were in the top 2 for a long time of the season, despite having a lot of injuries and despite not playing brilliantly, not being at the best attacking form that they could show. They were still in the top 2 for a long time and only started dropping down towards the end of the regular season. Were maybe a little bit lucky to finish in 6. I don't know. I'm sure people will argue with me over that. But they showed on Saturday that they're still a team to be feared.
Absolutely.
Because the way they came back into that game and to go 16-4 up, it was squeaky bum time for a lot of Warrington fans at that point.
Well, let's go there. We'll bring Steph in on this point. I mean, Graham Parrish there saying it's the best game of the season. I don't think that can be argued. I think it had everything, absolutely everything. And Craig Forth asking, was Makinson in touch? The week before, Makinson scored a wonderful try at the Lee Leopards where we were all purring over it, saying, how did he manage to get that in? Look, the bottom line is he goes up and tries to try. There was no conclusive evidence. I mean, there wasn't. I mean, I think the water carrier, Warrington, or Lee, whoever it was, just got in the way on the most definitive angle that would have proved it one way or the other. But I
thought it was Sam Powell who actually got in the way, warming up on the touchline.
No, I thought it was a water carrier. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What does matter, Steph, and I'm going to come to you, is, and let's pay tribute. Let's take this as an opportunity, because I think it's right that we do pay absolute credit to Tommy Mason in the Ved V. He puts the ball down in the first minute, and such is his class, his quality, his experience. He goes on to score that try, to get St. Helens back into that level of belief. What a player he has been. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He's took his try. They're going to miss him for me. I think they've let him go at least a season too early. Yeah,
for me, one of the best to ever do it in the Super League on the wing. I think he's been outstanding. He had a couple of injuries, didn't he? And I was a bit worried about Catalan signing him, but I think he's proved all of us wrong that he can definitely still do it. I'm a bit gutted he's leaving Saints, to be honest with you, because there's not that many one club players, and I genuinely thought he would end up finishing his career there. Yeah. So it's a bit sad in that respect that he's saying goodbye to Saints, and it's a bit sad that he didn't get to do it at the Totally Wicked as well as his final game. But obviously, league positions dictated that. But I don't think anybody can argue that he's definitely right up there in the top 3 for me in Super League ever to play on the wing.
High praise indeed. Freddie McGilvey there saying a great advert for Rugby League as a neutral. Absolutely. And I said, I think we said it on Final Whistle, does any other sport do, consistently? I mean, you can have the odd good game of football, but, and other sports, but Rugby League just delivers. As neutrals, when we watch a game, without even knowing it, we become invested in it for whatever reason. And it gets you on the edge of your seat. And this game, I mean, from a neutral perspective, it must be wonderful because there was no tension. There was no, you didn't have a stake in the game, so you could enjoy it for what it was. It was the most glorious game of our sport. For me, they should package this up as a DVD and send it out and say, if you want to see what sport is, watch this. You think of all those donors, Conservative, Labour, Liberal, Democrats, get away with yourself. Put all that money into a DVD. Send it out free to everybody in the UK. That'd be a better use of your money. I mean, let's be fair. The political system in this country is dead. There's a bit of politics for you, but Rugby League should be alive. Go on, get those DVDs done. Get them sent out. Show everybody what the greatest sport in the world is. St. Helens and Warrington. They delivered. Outstanding. Anyway, I'm off my rant. Let's go to Mark Percival. Greg, back to you.
Hello. You're right, Dave.
Percival's return, for me, it wasn't surprising to see the re-emergence of Saints as a competitive side with Mark Percival back on that left edge. Percival in this game scores his try. I mean, who'd have thought that? Mark Percival scoring tries against Warrington. We're going to jump ahead because we'll get to the Warrington tries in a moment. Let's just jump ahead, though, to Percival's kick to make it 22-22. I mean, says everything you need to know. He scored a try to nail that kick from the touchline. And because they'd run the clock down as well, it was do or die kick. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Oh, nerves of steel. Ice running through his veins. To land that kick, to give him high praise, it was Sinfield-esque.
Yeah, I agree.
To land that kick. Kevin Sinfield, nerves of steel. Kicked them from all over the park in pressure situation. I think Percival kind of epitomised that. That was an absolutely fantastic conversion under pressure to bring them back into the game that they had lost. Let's face it, Saints were out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they were still out before the kick was taken. So, you can't praise him highly enough for slotting that kick. And it didn't just sneak in, it went right between the sticks.
Absolutely. Nicola Burton, well, what an amazing game, Rugby League. Greg wrote saying, watch the DVD. There's people under 30 watching this. Good lad, Greg. Always good for a giggle. Well done, sir. I'm going to stay with Reggie. And the reason I'm going to stay with Reggie is this. If Pape's pass was first class, then George's was equally as good. Should the Royal Mail do a special commemorative stamp collection off the back of those two passes? Oh, yes. Georgie Williams, sir. What a beautiful round the back. Oh, have a bit of that. And Matty Ashton says, don't mind if I do. In he goes to make it a game.
He was, and to be honest, he was getting a bit of stick, George Williams, for a bit of that first half because it took him a while to grow into the game. But that run and that pass, superb. And the pass to get King in, I think the pass to get King in the second half was even better because it took 4 Saints defensive players out.
Yeah,
and then he gets clobbered late by Lomax, and there's nothing given. We've seen yellow cards given for hits, not as late as that from Lomax.
Yeah,
but you know, I'm getting on my soapbox again. I'm not quite on the political stance, but
do you disagree?
Yeah, Williams was quiet for the first 20 minutes, I thought, and then he just grew into the game. Was magnificent for most of that game.
Mate, come on, dearie me. Let's show you how good Georgie Boy was. Here we go. Here's the lads. Look at that one drop goal. Vital drop goal. Over you go, sir. Too beautiful. There's the word beautiful. Even Bernard Matthews from his grave saying it. Beautiful. Oh, yeah, wrap it up. In fact, there you go, George. Why don't you become the face of turkey drumsticks this Christmas? It was that beautiful. Anyway, 2 assists from George. 4 tackle busts, 16 tackles in the game, 3 offloads, 16 carries, 76 metres. Over to you, Mr. Sale. Mr. Williams, England captain, proved his worth.
Oh, definitely. He's a superb player. And I think the thing is with George is he knows how to play in the big games, doesn't he? And he absolutely can control this one for me. And everything that was good about Warrington's performance, and there was some not so good as well. You know, there's definitely some improvements Warrington will need to make and want to make for that visit to Hull KR, because they weren't perfect in this game, but everything good that they did do came through George Williams. And I'd like to pay massive tributes to Saints as well. I thought they contributed, given the amount of grief they've had, and for the fans as well of St Helens. It's great that they've gone out on a performance as good as that, because I thought they were absolutely outstanding in this game to even keep it close with what is, we all know, a very, very, very good Warrington side.
Absolutely.
And to back that up, Steph, I thought the Saints fans were magnificent.
Yeah.
On Saturday night, there was, you know, like I said in the final whistle, there was no fire drill going off with 20 minutes to go when it looked like they were going to lose. They stayed to the end. They sang to the end. They stayed well after the kick-off to congratulate the players. Fair play to Saints fans for that. Brilliant.
Absolutely. Take heed, Wigan Warriors fans. If things don't go your way on Saturday, your own adversaries have showed you the way.
Say that, Dave.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. Just simply wow. Look, let's hope and pray this weekend is as good, and it should be. It should be, because of the great quality that we've got on the field of play this weekend. Boys, we're doing a tremendous job. We're flying, actually. We're absolutely flying. Right, let's go to what we're going to do next. Where are we going to go next, actually? Oh, I've just noticed something. That's a bit naughty.
Beer break.
What's that?
So is it really a beer break?
I'll tell you what, if Steph wants a beer break, we'll give him a beer break. Ladies and gentlemen, I've already said, join the Super League Raw community. We really want your support. 2 people have already pressed the QR code. Alan Clegg, who's watched us for a while, he's bit the bullet tonight. He's supporting Super League Raw. Why don't you join him? And this is how. We are inviting you to become part of the fastest growing online community in Rugby League. Your contribution will enable us to continue to improve our current programmes and allow us to develop more so that you can enjoy Rugby League 7 days a week. Our 3 membership tiers provide everyone with an opportunity to create new friendships and experiences with like-minded Rugby League enthusiasts. 18th man membership. You will be supporting the work we do and contribute to our ongoing development. You will be entered into every prize draw as well as our monthly online quizzes. You will also have the opportunity of winning a season ticket by entering a team into the Super League Raw Mini Fantasy League. And you will also get a car window sticker to show that you're a part of this community. 6 again members. You will have increased entries into our prize draws and fantasy leagues. You will have increased shout-outs during Super League Raw every single week. You will have access to the Super League Raw WhatsApp group where you can talk with other members every single day. You will have 1 week advanced screening of our latest In Conversation With, and you will also have 3 invitations to the Final Whistle podcast recordings where you can have your say on the week's action. You will also be invited to a pre-game drink with Greg and I before your team's Warrington Wolves game at the Halliwell Jones. Team Talk membership. You get the maximum 3 entries into our prize draws and into our fantasy league. You will also have the opportunity to submit your question to the latest In Conversation guest, and you will be invited to every Final Whistle podcast where you will become a star of the show alongside the Super League Raw team. Membership starts from as little as £2.99 per month, so why not substitute a latte for 7 days of rugby league analysis and entertainment? Don't hesitate. Visit Patreon now and become a part of the fastest growing universal rugby league community online. So there you go. That's how you do it. We'd love your company. We really, really would. Right, it's now come to another announcement of our dream team. And we're going to go to the number 9 position. That's right, the hooking position. That's where we're going to next. Just need to try and find where that one is while I'm looking. There it is. Is that the one? That looks like the one. Yes, it is. This is what we put out on our Facebook page. And these were the contenders. Without doing the analysis, just with the eye, and luckily I got it right. They were the contenders. These were the contenders going in to look at our dream team here at Super League Raw. Cruz Leeman of the Wigan Warriors, Darrell Clark, Danny Walker, of course, got the main dream team one, Matt Parcell, and also Joe Mellor of the what's this there now? Okay, okay. So they were the hooking contenders, ladies and gentlemen. So bottom line is they were the 5. Should we find out who Super League Raw has got as the number 9?
Yes, please.
Here he comes.
The second phase here now. It's Parcell gets it away to Tangenhall, back to Parcell, and they are going to score. Try 2-4-9 for Ryan Hall. Lewis gets away from the tackle, out towards Matt Parcell for the hat trick. Matt Parcell.
So there you go. That might surprise a few people, but it is Matt Parcell. Matt Parcell of Hull KR. Of course, Danny Walker got the official dream team one. 25 appearances for Parcell this season. 9 tries, 7 assists, and that's pretty much what's got at him. 9 tries and 7 assists. That's where the real difference is. We'll take a look at him alongside his peers in a moment. 46 tackles, 5 clean breaks, 19 offloads, 554 tackles, 145 carries, 1,172 metres, and 8 average meters. That's basically how Matt Parcell has shaped up this season. Just to give a bit of clarity as to why that is, a lot of people will be surprised that Danny Walker has not been selected as our hooker this year. And this is why, basically. Yes, Danny Walker's got 4 40-20s. He's had a great season for the Warrington Wolves. Both have played 25 games, but the tries and the try assist is where it really shows. 9 tries and 7 assists for Parcell, 3 tries and 6 assists for Danny Walker. Both have been very active around the ruck. Both have got the team on the front foot this year. I mean, you could put a piece of A4 paper between these two. So you have to look at it objectively. Tackle bust goes the way of Parcell by 10, 46-36. Danny's done 4 more clean breaks, 9-5. Offloads, 19 offloads, Parcell to Danny's 2. Tackles, more for Danny, 681-554. Errors, less for Parcell, 5 versus 9. Carries, less for Parcell, more for Danny. He's been more active, but both averaging in and around the 8.2 metres per carry. Greg, hard to leave Danny out, but on that basis, certainly the tries and the try assists, we've always been fans of Parcell. Are you comfortable with that, mate?
Oh, yeah, more than comfortable. I think Parcell has gone under the radar this year because of Mikey Lewis. It's kind of a lot of the Hull KR players have been in the shadow of Mikey Lewis this year, but Parcell has been fantastic. I think the thing that helps Danny Walker this season has been Sam Powell. Sam Powell has been has taken a lot of heat off Danny Walker this season and allowed him to play his game well. I know they both play the same position, but you know, sometimes we started with Sam Powell and Walker's come off the bench to exploit gaps. And then the second half, Sam Powell's gone to loose to allow Danny Walker to do what he does. So I think there's kind of been a tandem thing there at Warrington with Walker and Powell.
Yeah.
Like I say, I think Parcell has flown under the radar because KR have had so many explosively talented players this season.
Yeah.
That, you know, all the plaudits have gone to Mikey Lewis and Parcell has been overlooked a little bit. But no, you know, mate, I have no arguments whatsoever.
Yeah. Steph, big admirer of Parcell and Walker, and like I say, was the width of an A4 piece of paper between them two.
Yeah, they've both had brilliant seasons, and I think Litton's been fantastic as well for KR. And a bit like you were saying there about Powell, I think Litton's backed up Parcell at KR. I think it's a great point Reggie's made there in terms of when you look at Minchella and Mikey Lewis at KR especially, he has probably gone under the radar a little bit. But yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic for KR. I think that with the hookers, there's been quite a few who've been pretty decent and all in that graphic there. And then obviously you throw Edwin Ipapi, and if he'd have had a full season, I think he'd have been there with them as well. But yeah, I've no arguments, and I'm still amazed that KR have not retained Parcell. It'd be interesting to see whether he does go back home or somewhere else.
Yeah, and in the chat, I think it was Neil saying that on that graphic he'd have given it to Clark. Go and take a look at it again, is what I would say for me. What I would say is, look, whilst that's all been going on, Steph's just giving me the heads up. Okay, we've had somebody in the chat complain about us advertising we have a membership. You watch this for 2 hours every week. It takes me 30 hours to put everything together for Super League Raw. I am not apologising for trying to get some more money to make this programme better. I'm not apologising for that. If you want to go and watch something for free, go and see what other podcasts dish up. It's nowhere near as good as this. So I'm not apologising for us going and getting a little bit of a refreshment halfway through the show and asking people to join our membership. That's all I'm going to say. And if you don't like it, go somewhere else.
I think it's for the benefit of the members, because when they come on board, they're joining a fantastic community.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely love it, mate. They absolutely love it, mate. 100%. You know, and I think every member that we've got would say that they love it. I mean, to the point where, you know, they found new friendships and a new community that they absolutely love
100%.
Meeting up with, talking to every day. So I'm not apologising for it. If you don't like it, go and watch something else.
We've got Wigan and Hull KR fans car sharing, you know.
Car sharing, exactly. Really? Yeah, and Craig Force says the adverts are saying, Neil, saying, yeah, name and shame him. I don't want to name him. I get your point, Neil. Bottom line is, you appreciate what we do for you, mate. We don't have to do this. We do it for the love of the game. And yeah, we, as you know, we invest it back into the show to give you the best possible experience on a Tuesday. I'm not apologising for that. I'm really not. So there you go. Nicola Burtonwood's with me. Well said, Dame. She gave me a kiss. That one is for me. For once, I can actually say Nicola has sent me a kiss. That was worth the rant alone. I've got a kiss off Nicola. It's absolutely marvellous. I'm overjoyed. You're not getting an extra point though on the quiz, Nicola. I've got to stay impartial. You're not having an extra point on the quiz. Right. We now come to the part of the show where we're going to look ahead to what we've got coming this weekend. And, you know, our man who doesn't like advertisements won't like the fact we've got sponsors. But, hey, there you go. We've got sponsors. So let's give our sponsor a shout-out before we get into all that's coming up this weekend.
He's target. Oh, here comes Koala.
Ooh, love that crunch.
Let me add a little bit of spice.
So there you go, Rugby League Three Quarters, another Facebook page where they talk about betting and all the rest of it. Get over there if you like a bit of a bet. And Craig Forth there just backing up what the community does. Dawn, another member who didn't even know Craig, I don't think, before Super League Raw came along, managed to get him a ticket for the KR Warrington game because he was struggling to get one. A fantastic community. That is what we're all about. That is what we're all about. We're growing the best community online. Do become a part of it. Press that QR code. Please support us. We want your support as much as possible. Right, now then. Here we go. Now, Greg, earlier on, we had a little bit of sport, but we've known each other years, because you wanted to, you know, pay tribute to a fantastic comment. I think it was Robert Higson in the chat, and absolutely right, sir. You were absolutely right to try and get my attention on that, but we were coming to it anyway. We're now at semi-final Rugby League, ladies and gentlemen, and we've talked now for many, many weeks about the week off. Is it an advantage? Is it not an advantage? Well, we'll have a little conversation about that before we get into the two games. And yet again, I'll leave nothing to chance. Here we go. Let's go through it. Grand final history. There's been 26 grand finals, ladies and gentlemen. The league winners have appeared 20 times and won it 14 times. The runners-up have appeared 20 times and won it 5. So not as successful, but still 20 out of 26. So that you would suggest advantage first and second. First have played second 15 times out of the 26. So there you go. 15 times first and second ended up getting to the grand final. The other 11, not so much. Third place have appeared 7 times and won 4 of those contests. Fifth place have appeared 3 times and only won the once. So for those of you who are very good at maths, third and fifth have a better win percentage than second. Third have got a 57% win percentage to 25%, whereas fifth have got a 33% of 25. So that's interesting. That is interesting. So, gentlemen, you wouldn't have known that coming on tonight. So I'll ask Greg, because you go to this many, many times, and of course you wanted Robert to get his night in the sun with a great question.
Yeah.
Is it an advantage to have a week off based on those statistics?
God, you've thrown me now with those statistics. I think it depends which team it is that has the weeks off. I think if you're seasoned grand finalists over the years, they've gradually gone to adapt to dealing with that week off and dealt with it accordingly. If that doesn't sound too much like a sitting on the fence answer.
I think the fact that both first and second have played in 20 finals
out of 26, yeah,
you'd have to suggest it is an advantage. But when I was putting this together, Steph, and it's not good reading for your lads who finished fifth, but I was amazed that those who finished third in 7 appearances have won 4. I mean that really surprised me.
Yeah, it's really interesting. But I think, like Reggie said, you've got to look at the teams who it actually involves here. It's like if Leeds have had a week off last week, do I think we'd have gone to Salford and win? I think it probably would have done us harm because of our momentum that we've been building over the past few weeks. But do I think it's going to be detrimental to Wigan? No, absolutely not. I think they'll be more than happy with a week's rest. So I do really think it depends on the squad. It depends on the team. It depends on how used to they are in playing in big games. There's so many different factors. What that graphic does tell you is it's incredibly difficult to win it from 4th, 5th and 6th.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask that. Does that mean nobody from 4th has ever won the grand final?
Well, Mr. Nixon, I will just quickly check my. In fact, nobody from 4th has ever won the grand final, and nobody from 6th. Oh, sorry, no, my apologies. St. Helens in 1999 won 8-6 against Bradford, having finished 4th. But in terms of 6th, nobody who has finished 6th have ever gone on to win the grand final. Leeds have done it from 5th, of course. But yeah, only St. Helens from 4th, 8 points to 6 against Bradford in 1999. So there's your answer on that one, my friend. So there you go. There you go. So anyway, there you are. So we said we'd have a look at it. I have had a look at it. I've done the analysis for you.
Fantastic, Dave. Brilliant.
Is it an advantage? Yeah. It probably is when you look at the amount of finals between them. And what I think, I'll just bring it up one more time for you, ladies and gentlemen. The one thing that really did strike me as well, that first and second have played 15 times. So, that's interesting. So even though first and second have got to 20 grand finals, first and second have only competed 15 times. So 11 times, somebody else who hasn't finished first and second has gone to the grand final. And that makes it interesting as we get into this part of the show, because we're going to now start discussing who is going to get to that grand final. But before we do, we are going to induct 2 more players into the Dream Team, and you'll see why in a moment. So anyway, the Dream Team, let's go to the standoffs. Here we go. These were the contenders, and of course, Brodie Croft will probably surprise quite a few people that young Brodie is in there, but all will become apparent. So yeah, George, now people are saying, hang on a minute, the Dream Team is Mark Sneyd and Mikey Lewis. Yeah, they both play scrum half. Now don't get me wrong, I think halfbacks are halfbacks, and I do, and we might have a look at that for next year. But every team of the week has pretty much allowed people to remain in their rightful position, 6 or 7. So it's only right and appropriate that we keep that going through to the Dream Team this year. But we might have an exec as part of the AGM meeting that we'll have with our members on the 20th of October. We might discuss, should we just look at halfbacks in the team of the week, or do they want us to keep it standoff and scrum half? But anyway, there you go. These are the contenders. Let's now find out who has got the standoff of the season.
wait, so little time to communicate, so little time to address. And what about that for a pass, a final pass from Williams?
Trying to line, trying to close Dundee down. Dundee gets it away. Here's Williams. Williams over the line. Well, here's Williams. He's the go-to. Okay, fires a pass to King, and it's a magical pass again. Hold their attacking shape. Short pass that over. Williams strong finds Williams with space. Williams sends the kick in. Warrington win in Golden Point.
So there you go, George Williams, the standoff of 2024. 21 appearances, 8 tries, 19 assists, 68 tackle busts, 12 clean breaks, 26 offloads, 386 tackles. Good effort that in defence, it's got to be said. 422 carries, 2,097 metres, a 4.9 average. Now, before people start saying, you can't count last week's game, that was not counted in these statistics, ladies and gentlemen. But it was just an opportunity to have a look at some glorious passes, a wonderful drop goal. Nothing. I was indulging myself with the vision that you just saw there. Nothing more, nothing less. But yeah, George Williams is the standoff of the year. Before I come to the lads, let's just see how we compare. Brodie Croft, actually, 25 appearances. He's actually made the least appearances of these. May 26, Croft 25. However, he's matched Croft with 8 tries. May's got 6. He's made the second amount highest assists, 22 for Croft, 19 for Williams, 13 for May. Tackle bust, though, 68 for George, having played 4 games less than Croft, 5 games less than May, 68 tackle busts, played 54 for Croft, 52 for May. Clean breaks, 12 for Williams, 13 for Croft, 4 for May. Offloads, 26 for George, 33 for May, 14 for Croft. Tackles, 386 for Williams, 521 for May. Good effort that from standoff. You know, fair play to Tyrone May. 427 for Croft, but do bear in mind Williams has played less games. Errors, 21 and 21 for Croft and Williams, 16 only for May. Carries, though, 400. I mean, that's been the difference for me. And I'll get Greg's view first on this, actually. I'll bring Greg in first. Williams this year has been busier. 21 games, 422 carries of the ball, made over 2,097 metres. He's averaged 4.9. Croft has made more metres, but he's played 4 games more. But, Greg, this season, George Williams has arrived at Warrington, hasn't he? I mean,
Yeah.
You know, the first 2, maybe not, but this year, we've seen George Williams, haven't we?
I think Sam Burgess has brought a newfound confidence to George Williams and allowed him to play, taking the shackles off. There have been a couple of games this season where he's not been as influential as he should have been. I'm thinking of Wembley, especially, where he kind of played within himself, but, you know, that was a lot down to the Wigan defence. But, yeah, I mean, you know, a big shout-out to Tyrone May. I think he's, again, somebody who has maybe gone under the radar because of Mikey Lewis. But Tyrone May has been a phenomenal player this season. Scored some great tries, made some great tries. But, yeah, I think the shackles have been taken off George Williams this season by Sam Burgess. And, you know, Drinkwater gets a lot of criticism from Warrington fans. And unjustly so sometimes, because I think what Drinkwater does is allows Williams to play his game. He's a controlling half and Williams is the creative half. And, you know, I think Drinkwater has got to be praised with his partnership with Williams, really, because he's that is what's allowed Williams to do what Williams does. And, you know, I've criticised Drinkwater at times. I'm not, you know, completely innocent in that regard. But when you look back at games and you just realise that Drinkwater there is doing a lot of controlling of field position to allow Williams to do what he needs to do.
Spot on. I mean, obviously, Bevan French, there's no doubt about it. His latter season form since coming back from injury and before he went out injured. I mean, there's no doubt about it. If Bevan French plays over 20 games this season, he's probably standoff of the year. There's no argument about that. But there has to be a cut-off. And like I say, I think you've got to play 20 games or more. I really do. You've got to play over 75% of the games of the season. If you're not, how can you possibly be in a team of the year? I'm sorry. So it is about consistency. French has been exceptional, though. In the games that he's played, he has been incredible. Steph says it all the time. He's a superstar of a Super League, but it doesn't give him a divine right to get into the team of the year. It really doesn't. I think if Bevan French plays 27 games next year, Steph, we're sat here and number 6 is Bevan French, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no one who'll compete with him.
No.
There's not. But I think it's a really good 3 players to have there, and great to actually see the stats, because I wouldn't have even considered Brodie Croft. Given, I think a lot of people will look at him going to Leeds and expecting him to have done more. But when you look at it, you can probably say he has probably done quite a bit, and maybe it's other people around him who've not done as much. But Tyrone May is an interesting one, because I remember at the beginning of the season when it was raining, the pitches weren't so good, we were all questioning. I seem to remember, especially after the Warrington, when you beat him there in that mudbath game, there was a few eyebrows raised about Tyrone May and whether he was going to do it for KR. I think as the pitches have dried up, he's absolutely come into his own, and I think he's got that combination with Lewis going now. You see him chasing the high balls all the time, and he's showing his athletic ability off. So he has done really well. But to speak of the actual winner, Williams this season's been absolutely outstanding, and I think Reggie's got it absolutely right, along with some of your other players, particularly Dufty. I think Sam Burgess has had a massive impact on his game. And it's great to see, and it's great to see from an England perspective as well, that George is playing with such confidence and being a leader, which he is on that pitch, and it's great to see that from a neutral perspective.
Spot on, absolutely spot on. Sam Burgess, of course, not up for Coach of the Year this year, but hey ho, there you go. That's life. We did that earlier in the show, but yeah, well done to George Williams. I think nobody can argue with that in terms of the season that he's had. So on that basis, then of course it makes the next decision all the more harder. Who is the scrum half of the year in this category? Lachlan Armour, who's had a great period, especially in the second half of the season. Harry Smith, we've all said in terms of game manager. I know Mark Sneed gets a lot of plaudits, but Harry Smith in the big games, he just turns up time and time again and controls it for Wigan. Sneed has had an exceptional season. I think he's benefited where the Goldthorpe's concerned in terms of getting those 3 points in terms of potential man of steel. And, of course, he won the Goldthorpe. And I think Steph's point over Tyrone May is interesting. I think because the Goldthorpe earlier in the season was giving Tyrone May big raps like they were Theo Farge, I think it almost turned everybody off Tyrone May, because we were thinking, why is he getting 3 points? Because in the early part of the season, he was getting points. And we were like, never in a million years was he top 3 in the game. However, as the season's gone on, and that word consistency, that's what we do here at Super League Raw in terms of our dream team. We look for consistency through the campaign. From a consistent perspective, he has flown under the radar. And when you get into the detail, he deserves his spot as a contender. And, of course, Mikey Lewis. So let's get to probably the biggest foregone conclusion that we're going to have. Let's have a look at the scrum half of the year.
Ryan Hall here, galloping through, support on the inside, and Mikey Lewis is in to score. With this last play, Tyrone May, and a little step back on the inside by Mikey Lewis, and Mikey Lewis, would you believe it? Well, if you've been watching them all season, you would believe it.
Pressure Moylan, May's after him again, May bats it back, the ball didn't bounce initially for Hall, he gets it, finds Lewis, Lewis looking to get the ball away, might not need to, tackled, 5 out, gets up and goes again, he's in, Mikey Lewis!
I said it last week, and I'll say it again. That's how you induct people into a dream team. Oh, yes, Mikey Lewis. What a season. The young man has had 26 appearances, 19 tries, 24 assists, 148 tackle busts. I mean, dearie me. I mean, look at the size of the man. Oh, incredible strength. 19 clean breaks, 17 offloads, 300. I'm rolling as I'm saying this. 376 tackles, 416 carries, 2,000 459 metres and 5.9 average carry. Mikey, oh, he's an English superstar in the making. We wax lyrical over Bevan French. Let's elevate one of our own English talents. This kid has got rugby league at his feet, and he will, of course, one day grace Australia. There's no doubt about that in my mind. What a player, what a season. Missed the sale. Give your plaudits to young Mikey Lewis.
Yeah, I think this is probably the easiest dream team selection of all of them. Mikey's been absolutely outstanding this year. And to be fair to the lad, he's took so much flack, a lot of it of his own accord, with winding people up and stuff like that. But I think he has toned it down a lot this year. And I think there's no coincidence that he's toned it down a bit and he's also become a better player because of it. But what a player this lad's turning into. And I think, for me, the making of him was getting his England call up. And whether, Sean Wayne's had a word with him at that level, I don't know. Probably Peters as well. He won't want to take that away from his game, but I think he's definitely told him to rein it in. But some of the tries, some of the assists, at times Mikey Lewis this season has been unplayable for me. And he's a massive, massive reason in terms of why Hull KR have been as successful as they have.
Well, what I would say as well, and I think I think you both agree with me on this one, is it's the fact that he's turned up this season in the big games. In that highlight reel there, Warrington, Wigan, Saints. It's very easy, isn't it, to go and score a hat trick against London, Castleford, whatever it may be. Yeah. Mikey Lewis in the big games this year has produced time and time again. Quite exceptional. Greg, before I bring you in, let's get into a bit more detail. Here we go. Here he is alongside the other contenders. Both him and Sneyd and Lamb, all 26. Smith, 22. Of course, could have been less than that had the opening game of the season spear tackle actually got a ban. But anyway, that's another story. We move on. Tries, you can see it there, 19 tries, blows the others away. He's got that, he's level with Lamb, 24 assists apiece, Smith 14, Sneyd 22. Try assists, 24, tackle bust, 148. I mean, there's leaving people in the shade, and then there's people that, quite frankly, never got off the starting traps. I mean, dearie me, Lewis 148, Sneyd 28, Smith 21, Lamb 55. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Clean breaks again. Hold me beer, he says to the others. 19 clean breaks to 13 for Lamb. What a piece for Sneyd and Smith. Offloading 17. And remember, these offload stats are not where they get knocked on or it breaks up play. These are executed offloads. 17 to Lamb 6, Smith's 8, offloads for Sneyd 4. Tackles up there and punching. Smith was, fair play to Harry Smith, in a winning team. 402 tackles. That's a good effort from Harry Smith. 376 from Lewis, 374 from Sneyd, 371 from Lamb. So not an awful lot other than Smith head and shoulders on that particular start. But this is really interesting. We often think about Mikey Lewis as a bit of a maverick, that he makes a lot of mistakes. He's made the least amount of errors of these players. And when you consider the experience of Sneyd, the quality of Smith, the quality of Lamb, we're talking about a young Mikey Lewis here. 17 errors this season, 20 apiece for Smith and Lamb, 23 for Sneyd. None worse than the one, of course, even though that wouldn't be counted, but like I say, against Wigan with that dropout. Carries the most, 416 times he's carried the ball, 2,459 metres made, 5.9. Again, leaves the rest in the shade because he's a different type of player to a Harry Smith who only makes 902. He relies on his kicking game, and we get that. But when you look at that, Greg, when you look at that graphic, I mean, what a season in that company to be that good.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I think Sneyd and Smith are slightly different players to Lewis and Lamb.
Agreed.
I think Sneyd and Smith are controlling halfbacks, whereas Lewis and Lamb, a little bit like Williams, are the explosive, the creative halves. But again, they all play in the same position. I think Sneyd deserves credit this season, because he's been at the heart of a lot of what Salford have done. But Lewis, and I can have no greater kind of compliment to him. He reminds me of Andy Gregory in the way he plays. He's only small in stature, but he can punch through tackles. He can create tries off his own back. He can run in from distance, and he can outpace defence. He can sidestep defence. He doesn't half remind me of Andy Gregory, and Andy Gregory was one of the greatest players that's ever played this game. You know, that's who he does remind me of. You know, if you put Sneyd and Williams together, they'd make a great combination. If you put Sneyd and Lewis together, my word, that would be some combination. It really would.
It would. Steph, like I say, when you look at those stats, mate, I mean, it's just like,
yeah.
This kid,
yeah,
could be. I mean, it's a long way to go. You know, injuries, temperament, whatever. You know, he's still got a lot of learning to do. But in the here and in the now, this kid, perhaps, I'm going to probably go Wellesby, the most exciting young English talent since Wellesby.
I think now he is. I think he's earned that title this year. I love that. This is where it comes into the 6v7 argument again for the dream team.
Yeah.
Because for me, a lot of people wouldn't even have Lam in the conversation. For me, he's clear second, Lam, clear second on those stats in that position. When you look at it like that, but Mikey Lewis is ahead of all of them. He's turning into potentially a very, very, very good player. Who could be taught.
He's a very good player now.
No, I mean,
an exceptional player.
Yeah, I'm talking at the top. Superstar.
I think you're looking for world beater, Steph.
Yeah, in terms of regular England starting halfback kind of territory. One where Australians, Samoans, Tongans are talking about, we've got to watch out for Mikey Lewis, and I think that's kind of the territory he's eking into now, which is fantastic.
You know what, I'm sorry for putting in, mate, and I really do apologise, but I think you've touched on a really good point there. It'd be too easy against Samoa to go a Smith-Williams combination. In the grand scheme of things, we lose this test match against this test series against Samoa. This is all about building to the next World Cup. For me, you've got to give Mikey Lewis, I mean, his head. I mean, I think we'd all agree. I mean, we've not done our Player of the Year yet. I think looking at the book, he's his favourite from Man of Steel. You've got to use this Samoan test as an opportunity to put Mikey Lewis in there.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Because it's about that. It's that word trust. I mean, you've heard that so many times about Sean Wayne's teams. Trust. Does he trust Mikey Lewis? And for me, it's not about trust. It's about raw talent. You don't know what he's going to do, which means that the opposition don't know what he's going to do. Excuse me. Now is the time.
It's a test match, and you've got to give test matches respect. Of course you have. But for me, it's as good as a friendly. This is your opportunity where your best players of the season deserve to go and get their opportunity to shine. This is where you play your Insembers. This is where you play your Matty Ashtons over your Dom Young. That for me is where you just go for it and say, come on, lads, let's see what you can do. And if they don't get that opportunity, how are they ever going to shine? How are they ever going to prove themselves against NRL players, against some of the best players in the world? In a game where if we lose it, it's chip paper tomorrow. No one's going to be bothered whether we lose to Samoa or not. So and not that I think we will. I think we're probably giving ourselves more. It's too easy for Sean Wayne to pick your older players, your more experienced professionals. I think the paying public would much rather see Mikey Lewis play.
Well, Craig Forth said it, can't wait for the next World Cup to see our young England team being more mature, experienced and taking Australia, and we've got to give him that chance. Mikey Lewis fully deserving our number 7 shirt. Incredible all season. Greg, go on.
Well, I just wanted to reply to Andy Beebe, who says he's more Parry Gordon than Andy Gregory. Andy, even I don't remember Parry Gordon. But I believe he was a magnificent player and quite possibly the greatest player never to get capped. So I shall bow to your greater knowledge there, sir.
Well, to be fair, I don't know Andy that well. I don't know Andy that well, but I think Andy's maybe of a different generation for the pure reason that when we were talking about, how many times first and second they got to the grand final, he threw in there that Warrington won the Premiership from 8th. We're talking Super League. I mean, so Andy, lovely. Don't get me wrong, lovely to have Andy with us, but I think Andy is dare I say it, a far more greater vintage, perhaps, than maybe we are.
That is not an issue, but you know, Andy, you may well be right with Parry Gordon, but for me, he reminds me of Andy Gregory, minus the biceps that were bigger than my chest on Andy Gregory. You know, Andy Gregory was one of the greatest players I've ever seen play the game.
Andy Gregory was class.
I think he's got a bit of Bobby Goulding in him.
Yeah, mate. There's shades of so many
generations. Yeah.
You could even say Alex Murphy.
Yeah, mate. There's shades of so many, mate. I mean, and they're really. I mean, Mikey Lewis can be whoever he wants to be.
Yeah.
And I think what we've seen this season is a step in the right direction. Not only is he produced, but I think he's maturing. He's still got that bit of grub in him. But you know what? That's the flaw of genius. You know, in every sport, in every life, it's the flaw of genius. They always have that little bit about him, and if you take that out of his game, he's not the same Mikey Lewis.
Everyone we've just mentioned there, Andy Gregory, Bobby Goulding and Alex Murphy, were all noty scrum halves.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I'm going to have to call time on Mikey because we've still got to get through this weekend, so I'm very conscious of the time. So let's go there. Let's go there now. So let's build up to this weekend. And here we go. The key facts for this first contest between the Warrington Wolves and the Hull KR at Craven Park this coming Friday night. Combined this season, it couldn't be closer. It's 50 points to 46 in the favour of Hull KR. Warrington are the best attacking defence in 2024. We mentioned that last week. Both sides have beaten all the semi-finalists this year. So both Hull KR and Warrington have got a W against all of the semi-finalists. So they will believe they can get to Old Trafford. The Robins are appearing in their 7th final series. The Wire, their 15th. Hull KR last won the title in 1985. The Wire, of course, in 1955. Both would love to lift it this year. Let's get into head-to-head. This is how it looks. 13 since Super League started for KR, 23 for the Wire. Wire coming on a 4-game winning streak. Of course, Hull KR having a week off last week, 2 wins before that. It's 2-1 to the Wire. A win at Craven Park, a win in their first meeting at the Halliwell Jones. But of course, let's not forget that Hull KR absolutely put on a masterclass at the Halliwell Jones Stadium, of course, in the final game to get that win. They're incredible. The average attack couldn't be closer, 26-27. The average defensive, the team scoring against them, 12 and 11. I mean, 2 points. 2 points in it. That's how tight this is. The bookies rightly have Hull KR as the favourites, 4-5. The Warrington Wolves, 11-10. Let's get into a bit more detail. I know I'm ragging your head here, Greg, but stay with me, mate. Stay with me. 2024 season tries 133 for KR to 126 Warrington. So even though Warrington have got the best attack in the league, KR have scored more tries. Why? We'll get to that in a moment. Tackle efficiency, 91.8% for the Wire, 90% for the Robins. It's going to be tight in D. Tackle busts, averages, 38 to 37. Clean breaks, 5.3 to 5.7. Errors, 9.1 to 9.3. My mate who wonders why we should invest in Super League Raw. This is why. It's called analysis. It's called getting into the detail. It's the finest podcast on earth, sir. Anyway, back to offloads. 300 for the Robins, 198. That's interesting. The Robins have kept the ball alive more. Greg, when I come to you in a minute, think about that. Warrington have often been considered the team that have been too expansive too often. KR have got that mantle here. 30 offloads to 198. And Warrington learned the lesson. Are KR going to be too, giddy with the ball? Interesting. Average meters, nothing much in that. Just, dare I say, 31 meters as an average difference in Warrington's favour. But look at the goals. That is where it really is quite interesting. 78% conversion for the Warrington Wolves. 64%. That is why Warrington have the highest attack. It's not because they scored the most tries. It's because they converted more chances over the sticks. That is critical. We're now in playoff rugby league. That is a critical stat. Now, I'm not saying for 1 minute that stat's going to get Warrington the win, but I've hit you with a lot there. I've hit you with a lot. Greg, unwrap that lot if you can.
Oh, God. I just hope. Do you know what? Let's put my cards on the table. This time last week, I felt physically sick at the thought of Warrington playing Saints in that playoff. Because I thought Saints finishing 6th, us finishing 3rd, Saints almost a full team back, they would beat us and knock us out again in the first round of a playoff. It's the first playoff game we've won since 2018. And you know what? I'm really relaxed about this one. not because I think that that Warrington might win it, but this season for me has been better than I could have ever expected as a Warrington fan. We went to Wembley when nobody expected us to. We finished third, and we've beaten St Helens 4 times this season, and we've knocked them out of the playoffs. So I'm really kind of quite calm going into this game. And you know what? If Hull KR beats us on Friday, there's a team that finishes second, then they deserve it. They deserve to be in that grand final. But I am, as I've been asked in the chat, I am still going 9-17 Warrington on this one. I think if we can nullify Mikey Lewis, Hull KR will miss Minchella. They really will. He's an integral part of that team. We've also, you talk about Mikey Lewis. We've got Matt Duffy, who's equally as explosive as Mikey Lewis, albeit a different position.
Greg, if I can, let me just pull you up on Minchella's point. Okay.
Yeah.
This is an interesting point. And Steph, by all means, comment on this in a minute. Minchella, as good as Minchella's been, we put him in our dream team last week. He's in the official Super League dream team. As good as Minchella has been, it's not as catastrophic as losing a Mikey Lewis, as losing a Matt.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But
Hadley this year, when he's had to deputise, has deputised really well. So I appreciate they'd rather have Minchella there, and absolutely they would. But I don't think it's that.
I think he's the calming influence. So it's not what he maybe does with the ball or whatever, but it's his influence on the pitch that I think they'll miss. He's a bit like a Mike Gregory, if you like. I'm coming all with players with surnames of Gregory, but it's a bit like a Mike Gregory or a Paul Schoolthorpe. He kind of calms it down. He knows when to calm the situation down, Minchella, and that's why he's been so good this season. Our Hull KR friends might disagree with me, but I think his influence will be missed.
Well, you could be right. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's the captain after all, and I get that. But like I said, I just wanted to throw that in there. Steph, I mean, your take on Minchella and then the game in general. Greg gone 9-17. Minchella, you'd rather have him, but Dean Hadley is more than an adequate replacement, isn't he? On form.
You'd definitely rather have Minchella. Definitely. However, Hadley's been absolutely brilliant in deputising and his performances this season. I think I'm pretty sure he won some awards at the Hull KR Awards. I think I recall.
He did, yeah.
Player of the year, mate. Player of the year.
Exactly. So yes, it is a loss, and some people will say no Minchella, no limoncello to go a Steph reference there. But no, he's 100% going to be a loss. However, do I see that as being the deciding factor in this game? No, I think KR have got the players to win this game. Likewise, Warrington have got the players to win this game as well. I think it's such an intriguing semi-final, this one. It should be a classic for the ages. It should be. Let's hope it is, as a neutral. Let's hope they bang 10 bells out of each other in this one. I think one thing Minchella has got in him is, as we saw at Leigh, the potential to get a card. So that's one thing that's probably not going to happen. But I just see there's some really good comments in the chat here, and I'm going to 100% agree with them. This could come down to goal kicking. And I think Don Kirby, I think said was it Don Kirby or Don Baker? One of the Dons.
Well, just a quick shout out, Josh Huff, I think is the way he'll pronounce his surname. First time seeing Josh put a comment in our chat. Welcome to Super League Raw, Josh. And Josh is one of those in the chat who has said about goal kicking stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the Dons said, I think it was Dawn Baker actually, said that Thewlis's boot should have its own seat on the coach on the way to the game.
Yeah, there it is.
Dawn Baker, there you go. Brilliant, Dawn.
Well done, Dawn.
I wouldn't have come up with that one, Dawn. That's an absolute classic line. That's brilliant. But I think how true that could be. How true that, let's remember that comment for next week, just in case.
Let's be fair. The games, and and this is look, KR fans. Had you have had a goal kicker this year, your league leader shield winners. That's the reality. You know, we're now into a point in the season where, you know, goal kicking, as was proven at the weekend. You know, Mark Percival. You know, Mark Sneed. I said to Steph in the ground when Sneed had the chance to kick to go 8, to take it to 8, and to really put pressure on Lee. I said he's going to miss this. He's had one of the best conversion rates all year, but this is when it counts. He's going to miss this, and he did.
That's why Percival's kick was so special. To have your ice in your veins to kick a goal from the touchline in those circumstances, and you can even go back to the semi-final Saints v Lee when they actually missed it to send us to Wembley. So you know that's how important goal kicking is. That's why we're going back that far, because to reference games where it's a semi-final or whatever to get to a final. You've got the big players have got to step up, and that includes your goal kickers. And it could 100% be a factor in this game because both sides are capable of scoring tries and defending as equally as well as each other. So I can see it being very equal on the try scored against for, and it coming down to maybe a conversion missed or something like that. So, but one thing I think we all hope for as a neutral in this one is it's as good as the Warrington Saints game. And
not as close, so Steph, because.
No, we want it close. We want golden point.
No. I can't afford to lose as many hairs as I did on Saturday. All I hope is that Hiku puts his hand up for the goal kicking duties.
What happened? Elizabeth Higson has just booked her ticket for the quiz on Thursday. Make sure you do get into the chat. If you get into the comments on YouTube, on Facebook, and on the podcast, there is a link there for Eventbrite. It's a free ticket. The prize of the grand final ticket is solely for members. Sorry. However, if you sign up for an annual membership, you will be included for that prize. So that's as good as it gets. Apologies to my friend who doesn't like advertising. Right, we move back to, he won't go, mate. I just find that so insulting that we do this. We do this every week. We can provide great entertainment. And
you're right, mate. You're right.
We go out and have a little whittle and get ourselves a refreshment for 2 minutes, and we still leave something on the screen. Jog on, sir. Anyway, we move on. I'm sorry, but I'll just say it as it is. You know, unbelievable. Anyway, Josh Sim goes KR 1-8. What did you say, Steph? Have you given me a prediction yet?
I've not, no.
Go on, mate.
Do you want me to give my prediction?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to go Warrington 1-8.
1-8 the wire. So you're going with me because I'm going exactly the same way. Joel has gone KR 1-8. Gary Schofield's gone KR by 9-17, and Greg's gone Warrington 9-17. So, you know, a little bit either way. Let's get into the chat. There you go, Craig. Greg did stick with his prediction for the final whistle. Robert Hickson, Y 1-8, KR by 6. Says Alan Meadows. Good evening, Alan. Craig Forth 1-8, the Y, the Robbins 1-8, Garibo, Linda Blundsman. She's gone Y 1-8, Mark Smith, Warren 1. Look, it's great, this. I mean, and that is it. I mean, you just look down this list. Toss a coin is what you're basically saying. Toss a coin. Steve Carter's my old friend. He's gone Warrington 1-8. I've got to say hello to Steve. Josh Hoff has gone KR 1-8, sadly. But yeah, they're all still going in. And do you know what? There's the odd 9-17 in there. But I think the consensus of opinion is this is going to be.
And do you know what? As a Wire fan, if Hull KR beat us and go to the grand final, I will stand up and applaud, because I've argued for many, many years that the team that finishes top should be champions. And, you know, it's a bit hypocritical of me to kind of, if you like, want Warrington to get there and then win the league.
You wouldn't have said that about Saints last week, would you? Anyway, but that's by the by.
I did say that. I said it would be hypocritical of Saints to finish 6th.
You did. But you wouldn't be happy with Saints being in the final and winning it, though, would you?
And then go to the final and win it. It would be so hypocritical of Saints to finish 6th and won the grand final.
How good was it, though? And especially looking back on it now, when that Leeds team did it from 5th with Rob Burrow and Kevin Sinfield. You know, and seeing that magical moment.
Well, what you've just heard there is hope. So let's give Steph his hope. Let's move on. Let's hope that the KR and the Robins, the Robins against the Wire should be an exceptional game of rugby league, one not to be missed on Friday night. I mean, dearie me, What are you doing, folks? If you're thinking of doing anything else on Friday night, give the dog a bone, turn the clock off, get rid of the phone, get your beers in, put your feet up and watch quality rugby league football, because that's what's coming on Friday night. And also, I think, what will come on Saturday as well. So let's go to that Saturday game. And here comes some statistics for you. Here we go. Let's get into some facts, he says. It's starting to struggle a little bit. Oh, Steph doesn't want to see it. You don't want to see it. Here we go. Here we go. They're coming now.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
He's gone. The combined score, no wonder he's gone. The combined score 2024 sees the Warriors 92, Leopards 24. Ouch. But let's not forget that, I think one of them games, the Leopards were missing quite a few troops, but it's still a hell of an impressive scoreline. Wigan have won 13 from 14 games at the Brick Community Stadium this year. Only the Warrington Wolves have beaten Wigan at the Brick this year. Wigan have beaten all of the 2024 semi-finalists. Of course, Lee have not. They have not beaten Wigan. The Warriors are appearing in their 24th final series out of 26. That's incredible, isn't it? The Leopards are appearing in their second, of course, back-to-back appearances for the Leopards. Wigan have won 12 of their 16 semi-finals in Super League. Lee Leopards last won the title in 1982. So the head-to-heads, as you'd expect, 12-1 in the Super League era. Here, we've got to go back to 2017 for the last Leopards win against the Warriors in Super League. Warriors coming in with a great record. They're 3-0 up this season. It's first against fifth. There's 6 points difference in attack, 26-20 in favour of the Warriors. And in defence, Warriors 12-14 better. As you would expect, league winners, they've got every trophy in the cabinet. Warriors go into this 1-4 favourites. Lee Leopards 16-5. On the attack, a for and against, just a little bit of a caveat here, just only a little one. They have been getting better, have the Lee Leopards. They have been getting better. In the last 13 games when they've won 11, the Lee Leopards attack has been 23.8, nearly 24, and their defence has been 10 against, not 14. So in the last 13 games, Lee do have a better defensive performance than Wigan in versus Wigan's collective 27-game performance. So that's something to be considering, Steph, when you're looking at that big stat in terms of the aggregate score. And finally, let's get into stat attack. So 125 tries to 100. Tackle efficiency, 0.2 between them. Wigan 90.7. Lee 90.5. The average tackle bust, surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, Wigan, of course, Lee have had a lot of their heavy hitters out this season. 38.3 for the Wigan Warriors, 34.4 for the Leopards. Clean breaks, 5.9 for the Warriors, 5.2 for the Leopards. Errors, 251 plays 274. Offloads, 192 for the Warriors, 212 for the Leopards. Average meters, though, go the way of the Leopards, 1,305 per game to Wigan's 1,276. But look at the goals. The difference Adam Kieran has made. Last year, Wigan was sub-70 under Harry Smith. This year, they're 81% because of Adam Kieran, 71% for Lee. We talked about the importance of goal kicking in the Warrington game, gentlemen. Also here. Greg, this should be a good game. If ever, it's the biggest battle of the Borough era. Let's call that out straight away. Wow. Over to you, mate. What do you think?
Really, really looking forward to this game. This is Lee's chance to put one over on their near neighbours. I believe it's heading for a sellout, so the atmosphere should be fantastic. I know when Warrington went to the whatever it's called stadium now, the atmosphere, it was like being at a gig. The atmosphere was magnificent, and I'm sure Lee fans will more than replicate that and urge their team on. It's going to be. I think this is going to be an absolutely fantastic game. I really hope so. Anyway, I do hope this one goes to Golden Point.
But
so
to which team?
To everybody else.
Touche, Reggie.
But I don't think it will. I don't think it will go to Golden Point. I think Charlie's if Charlie's not playing, is he? I think Charlie's a massive miss.
And Holton.
Yeah, I think they are massive misses for Lee. But I'm sure Steph will Look at the positives on this one.
Well, Erwin Pape is a positive. Tom Amon's a positive.
Yeah.
As the artist coming to form, it's a positive. So there are positives there.
Yeah, I just think Charlie's going to be a massive miss on that edge.
Kai O'Donnell should return, though. That's the rumour.
I hope so. I really do hope so, because I think Kai O'Donnell has been magnificent this season. Absolutely magnificent.
So which way are you going?
Wigan 100+.
If I tip Lee, I'll never be able to go down the East Lancs again in safety. I generally think it'll be a close game, but I think Wigan are going to win 9-17. Sorry, everyone.
No, well, look, Gary Schofield's gone the same way. Fans Form's gone the same way. Joel sees it closer 1-8. I see it Wigan 9-17. I mean, look, we'll go back to, again, sorry to disappoint you here, Steph, mate, but when you go back to that top stat, this season it's 92-24 to the Wigan in over 3 games. I mean, for me, I can't ignore that. But it is playoff rugby league. So I think it's going to be a really tight first half again. But I fear that we're going to do to Lee again what they've done every time almost that they play him. Second half, they just get the job done. So I'm going 9-17. Steph, last word on this one goes to you. Go for it, mate.
Well, I think no matter what, this is Lee's final, isn't it? There's going to be another huge crowd going from Lee to watch this one. Fair play to the Lee. I mean, the number of Lee fans that went to Salford last week was incredible. You know, I think we're showing some established Super League clubs, you know, what it means to, you know, a population of 46,000 taking 10% of your town to an away game is a phenomenal achievement, and doing that back to back as well, which we've already exceeded that in terms of our ticket sales for this game. It's someone you'd have to pinch me at the moment to say that if we went back 2 years ago, and that we'd be a Challenge Cup winning side who've gone back-to-back playoffs and who are now actually gone one better than that and are playing we're 80 minutes away from Old Trafford. I think a lot of Lee fans would have said, "What you smoking?" 2 years ago. So we are
probably be in Amsterdam, but carry on.
I think a lot of us would have been, Dave. We're still kind of pinching ourselves as Lee fans that we're actually in this position. And I think even look at this season from round 16 to say, if you'd have said to me at round 16 we'd be playing Wigan and with a chance of 80 minutes from Old Trafford, you wouldn't have believed it. So no matter what happens this weekend, I think Lee have done phenomenally well to get to where we have. And the only thing from a Lee perspective is what could we have done? You know, from the start that we had, is where could we have finished? What could we have done with this team? But what the Lee team has got is this last dance mentality. They've got a lot of key players who are leaving this team. This could be their final game, and that is definitely going to be drawn on. Whether they drew too much on that against Salford, because we got very emotional at that Salford game just to get to this position. Whether we can do that again against, for me, one of the greatest Super League sides that's ever been assembled, who are full strength. It's David Goliath doesn't probably do it justice for me in this one. But the beauty of rugby league is that sometimes miracles do happen.
So what are you going, mate?
Lee 1-8.
Fantastic. And I would have been disappointed had you gone any other way. Look, we'll keep building up to this fantastic game throughout the week on our social media platforms. We will be unpacking it on Sunday with the Final Whistle podcast with the Team Talk members. That'll be there for your listening pleasure on Monday for your trip to work. This show is going to be available to watch on YouTube for as long as you want, and also as a podcast. Tell your friends about it. That'll be uploaded tomorrow morning from 6 o'clock. We've got the Super League Raw quiz this Thursday night, and another member has joined, Glyn. He has joined tonight as well. He's possibly going to be in the he's coming to join us for that quiz night and has the chance of going to the grand final because he's took out an annual membership. Thank you very much indeed, of course, for that. 2 annual members have come on tonight. You're going to love the Super League Raw community. We really appreciate your support. 2 brilliant games coming up. Don't forget, once this show is finished, 2 things you need to do. 1, go and get your ticket for the event. Go on to Eventbrite. The link is in the chat. Go is in the description of the YouTube, the podcast, and on Facebook. Click the link. Go and get your free ticket. Don't take a ticket if you're not going to come, because that's taking other people's chances away. Get your ticket. Come and see what we do here at Super League Raw. Quiz nights. Nobody else does this type of thing. They don't. We have got, I believe, the best podcast out there. Absolute positivity. We've given you great entertainment for 2 hours. So why not go over to, once you've done the Eventbrite, to Patreon. Consider supporting us. We want to get bigger. We want to get better. We want to keep giving you better prizes. We want to extend our community. Welcome, Glyn, to you tonight. Really appreciate you getting involved. Also to Alan Clegg. My thanks go to Steph and to Reggie, as always, for their company. We will see you on the other side of what is bound to be an exceptional weekend of rugby league football. I'll just say, oh, here come the shivers. Liam Marshall, Edwin Ipape, George Williams, Matty Ashton, Mikey Lewis. Oh, they're all going to be there on show. Oh, yes, outstanding. This is why we love this game. This is why we're the best community. Rugby League. Come on, IMG. Come on, the Rugby Football League. Get some promotion done. Greatest sport on earth. We'll see you next week for more Super League Raw Weekly, because Steph, as you always say, sir,
you can't beat a better weekly.
You most certainly can. We'll see you next week, guys. All the very best.
See you later.